Thank you, Jupiter. And thanks, Subrato, for joining us today. Really glad to have you here today. So let's kick off the session. I think we're talking today about the role of technology, and I think with OutSystems being one of the pioneers in low-code technology platforms, and I think low-code really being central to how the whole technology evolution in operations is happening. How do you see the whole landscape of operations changing from a technology standpoint? We do see a number of modern technologies, including AI, automation, and in some cases even blockchain coming about, right? So, what would be your quick 2 cents on the whole landscape today?
Yeah, Prankur, thanks for the question and a very, very interesting question. And so when you look at typically low code, so low code is a buzzword which has been a word which has been created by Foster, and after that it has been taken by lot of analytics firms, lot of companies and all. Okay, but when we look at from the low code point of view, we look at low code is it is not about development application. It is not about that citizen will come forward and develop app, or business will come forward and develop app. It is all about driving complex transformation at your organization. Okay, in a much in a where you can build application fast, right, and for the future. Okay, so what do I mean by that? See, so there are a lot of organization is moving towards low code. It's not about the fun of moving because they want to reduce the development cycle, and they want to give the low code to the business users, or anybody to build app. No, that's not the perspective. Because of the pandemic, the entire customer experience has been changed, entire employee experience has been changed, entire expectations has been changed. Okay, and it is all about faster time to money and faster time to value, right? It is all about being fast, being agile, and being something that we need to do, which is future proof also. Okay, and that's what we do in OutSystem. uh, at the same time, organization also going through a challenges that, hey, how do I maintain my legacy? Because I can't throw my legacy within a day one. I just need to have uh, 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 I just need to look at this transformation in a very periodic manner. So what normally happens that they decide to go for a transformation engine like OutSystem to link to their system of record. Okay, first thing that they do first is how do I use my existing set of data from multiple sources within my organization, and then I connect that, then I create an application which is for which is modern, which is for the future. Okay, so that's the first thing what I have seen with the customer which are doing, because they want the transformation to be fast, they want to reach to the customer to be fast, they want a true omni channel. So when I say omni channel, a lot of people will talk about omni-channel from a different perspective, but the true perspective of omni-channel is this: that it is not about giving channels to the customer, but at the back also you need to be connected. If you're not connected at your back end, you cannot have a omni-channel one experience, giving one experience to the customer, right? So keeping a platform like OutSystems, they can do that transformation from a front end as well as from a back end with a much more faster. So when I say faster, it is probably at one third the space that they can do, and they can do things from a high code point of view. So when we look, so that's the overall perspective, Prankur, I can give. I can give you many use cases, but I think I have some time
Sure.
limits, and I need to maintain
Yes.
that.
No, I think this is I think wonderful. Sets the tone in terms of how low code specifically is becoming really critical to operations as a function. And I think even during the pandemic, we saw there was a lot of technology infusion that happened in various operational processes. Whether it is about serving customers or whether it is about maintaining supply chain functions, or even more backend functions which went remote in that period, right? So there was that fundamental shift that happened, as that I think when companies were looking to go remote. But do you see that as something as a trend that will continue with higher interest and demand for technology adoption even now, when once the pandemic is over, or was it more like a one-time event and something that maybe will not really sustain in the future?
Yeah, so Prankur, is a very good question. Okay, now I'll try to speak at very ground level, not at a very high level. So even if you'd see the generation which is, we call it as a millennials generation, which is coming, right, which is the generation, uh, uh, and this generation is not about physical. This generation is all about digital, right? And forget about the pandemic, it is there or it is not there. Okay, so if this generation is become going to become a future customer of future customer of any organization, you need to find out ways and means to come out with a strategy how you can service these kind of customers, right, on a digital channel, because they would avoid getting into any kind of voice call. And at the same time, customers who's also going to, so suppose for example, per call is costing a customer is around 3 to 10 rupees, and to service a customer, right? So there is a cost of customer onboarding cost, okay, and then there is a cost of customer servicing cost also, right? Now when you look at these aspect in a much more deeper side, one thing will come in place, that hey, if I service the customer as a digital platform, my cost of servicing the customer is 40 paisa. Okay, so customers are not looking that the organization is not looking that I can reduce the cost and give a better customer experience. Yes, that is there, but that's the need of the hour, because the future generations and the millennials is all about digital. They don't like to pick up the phone and call. So if you have to prepare yourself better, it is extremely important that you develop you are driven by a software led organization, right? Look at how the Netflix and how the Uber and how the Amazon of the world is working on, and give a customer a better user experience, better UI and UX experience, 3-click experience, and those are the only thing which is going to matter going further. Now, my last point which I wanted to talk about is this, that yeah, low code has been a buzz. People are thinking after pandemic it will go off. No, when AWS came into market 10 years back, it was a buzz. People never thought that they will look at developing native production applications, right? But it happened, right? Gartner predicting 70%. Okay, I'm not getting deeper about that, why they are predicting 70%, but they are predicting 70%. There is some data behind that part, right? So when I am interacting with the CIOs and the CXOs in multiple formats, from India GIC, India domestic, as well as India GCC's Global Command Center, and when I'm looking at CXO level, they all are building practices and a digital factory model around low code platforms, because and they are very clear. They are very clear that if I don't make this factory model, I would be somewhere I need to look at what my competition is doing. Okay, but at the same time, how do I carry forward with my innovation, because the future is all about software driven world. If it is going to the software which is going to drive the world, so you will find tons and tons of application which is going to come up. Okay, and that's the reason I see that. And when those application comes up, it is all about how fast I can build the app, how fast I can go to customer, and how fast I can create the value for the customer. I hope it makes sense.
Absolutely, Subrata. I think the point around how your customers are really demanding you to look at more omni-channel experiences. I think overall enterprises are becoming more digital. I think that those are truly, I think, will define in terms of how even within each of the functions, including operations, you will have to infuse more technology. In fact, I think you made a great point in terms of how the next generation, and we talk about millennials really demanding those technology like experiences. I think we already have Gen Z who are now entering the workforce
Yeah.
very soon, right? So, in those terms, your employees also, I think, will want to work on functions and on processes that add greater value, right? They don't want to really work on things that are repetitive, things that are manual, which would not really give them the satisfaction from the jobs that they're looking for. And then from an operations standpoint, can you talk about maybe a few use cases where you saw where you have deployed technology in automating operations processes, some real life examples where companies have been successfully able to make their employees, ops professionals more productive, get that better overall experience, and add higher value from the work that they have been doing.
Okay. Okay. Very good question, Prankur. And I will directly get into a couple of verticals and give some examples to you. Like if I look at the BFSI, uh, India is loaded with, that all the banks are loaded with a lot of money, right? And lending becoming a big business. We all know the fact that FD is not going to create a major fuss, and it is not going to cover your inflation part and all. And lending is a space which is different for different customer, right? The way that they look at things, basically, right? And every time lending become a different kind of application. Okay, whenever we talk to customer, how fast they can build a lending application and how fast they can able to look at from an organization's point of view. And there are many organization in India who has looked at us to drive a lending based application. There are a lot of BFSI who's trying to consolidate. They are using some very legacy apps like Oracle Forms or like Lotus Notes and all, and they have been using on silos. So they're saying, okay, I just want to get rid of everything. I just want to consolidate everything in one single platform, and that is giving them a huge amount of value. At the same time, it is giving a huge amount of agility to the business part also. That which business if business is to come up with a request of change, that change used to be always there is a tussle between IT and a business, that that, right? It always the case. And 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 what is happening, the gap between the IT and the business is getting reducing day by day. And CIO is no more a technical CIO or technology CIO. He is more a business based CIO. Okay. Now the change request which is coming from business, the technology team are in a position to give back those change requests within 5 days, within 7 days. Earlier it was 2 months, 3 months, right? So how fast, how dynamically fast you can change your models, how dynamically you can change the way your customers are changing, are the need of the hours at this point of time. Okay, so that's from a BFSI point of view. Now coming back to retail, we are going through multiple use cases on a distribution kind of use cases, logistics kind of use cases, where they are trying to capture the end mile into the right way, where they can able to see that what is the experience that I'm getting from my end customer, which was not there earlier, which used to be there in a lot of forms, lot of manual processes. And the fact that when there is a manual, there is no offense to anybody, there has to be some manipulations also, right? And when it is coming directly from the customers, feedback directly coming from the customer. So there are a lot of app which is basically getting built in a utility space, in a retail space, in a BFSI space. And I can also see some core ERPs also. Customers are also thinking to change some core ERP to low code platform like OutSystems, because when they see that this is scalable, this is scaling in a very right perspective. So they are looking at application which can give a better employee experience, so that they can able to retain better employees and all. They are looking for multiple application which is better customer experience. So I would say that at this point of time, typically 6 or 7 verticals are very very effective. Wherever there is a remote thing which is working, wherever there is a huge complexity of backend, there is definitely a low code. But one thing which I want to pass as a message, that don't look at low code as a as solving one of your problem basically, right? If you are looking for a low code, look at it in a very strategic manner, where it needs to be part of your enterprise architecture. Okay, and then you decide that how this thought of low code can really significantly add value for your transformation going further, and which are those first transformation that you would like to test the use cases, and based on that success you go to stage 2, which is more complex. You go to stage 3, which is more and more complex. And I think we are not very far away from those things, and in many customers we have already reached the stage 3 process also.
Great, great. I think yeah, this does give an idea to our audience here in terms of what they can expect from technology, how they should think about where to I think start, and some use cases and actual applications of technology in their workflow, right? But if you think about the leadership, they're always unsure about okay, what returns can I expect from my technology or low code app deployments that I'm making, right? So, what metrics should I really look at? How should I track my ROI? So, to those folks, what would you recommend in terms of what outcomes and metrics should they be tracking for such technology initiatives? How can they actually see ROI coming in from technology projects
Yeah,
for their
that's a very good question and very important question. But whatever I do, it makes sense. It should monetary make sense to me and for my organization. So the way that we approach any project is basically do a assessment. Okay, basically do a discovery. Okay, that discovery includes that what are the things that they are doing, and what are the things that they are not doing, and what are the things that they are not doing is impacting what particular tangible benefit that they are losing, which they can easily do part. Okay, and now to do that part, which is a tangible benefit what they will get, because see, there are a lot of untangible things which we can keep on talking about, but customers always look out for a tangible benefit part, right? So when we convert those things on a tangible part, and then we try to link it up and say that, hey, if you have to achieve this in today's date, in today's pandemic date, and tomorrow in next 2 years down the line, okay, tell me what is the value that you're going to lose if you don't do this transformation. And then the number comes into play, and when you see the number and when you see the cost, there's a huge difference, because then they realize that if I don't do this transformation, and if I don't do the roadmap in the right way, probably next 7 months down the line, I may lose X amount of business, or X amount of customer, or X amount of internal experience giving to my employees and all. No, not much from a B2B point of view, but both from a B2C point of view. Within, even from a B2B, it can be from a dealer, franchisee, and all. And when you take that cost, then every CXO realize that putting some money upfront on the table right now to invest on these solutions will basically not only save me the customer, but also save me and get me more customers going further also. And that's the tangible thing that we always look at. And we go through a very detailed exercise with each of the customer on those lines basically.
Got it. Got it. No, I think this captures it well. So it's not just about the cost of doing it, but the cost that could be to your business of not doing technology, right? I think that's maybe something to think about. And thanks, Subhutu. I think we are almost at the end of time. So
Thank you.
and really a pleasure having you here today. Uh, and I hope the attendees also learned as much as I did from the
I hope
session.
so. I hope so. And thanks, Prankur. It was nice interacting with you. And some of the questions I really liked it because it was giving, it probably has might have given a lot of good perspective to the audience and all. Thank you. Thanks for your time. Bye bye.
Thanks, Subhutu, and over to you, Jupiter.